Three, two, one. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. We're now, what is it, 48 hours or so? A little bit more than 48 hours before we have what probably will be one of the most watched national debates in U.S. history. Talking about President Trump and Joe Biden about to go head to head in their first national debate. Now, what I want to do, first of all, is ask you folks, how do you think President Biden and his adversary, President Trump, will perform? I want to read to you a few quotes. You guys know I like to bring a little bit to you. I want to talk to the folks, I want to get your opinion on this. You know we don't block, ban, or censor based on your commentary. So this is an actual quote coming from none other than President Donald J. Trump. States, this was on May 13th. He said that crooked Joe Biden is the worst debater I have ever faced. He can't put two sentences together. That came from President Trump. A couple days later, he also stated he can't walk, in reference to Biden. He can't walk. He can't talk. Can't find his way off stage. Wow. Says he can't, once again, he says he can't put together two sentences. Now, contrast both of those statements I just gave you coming from President Trump to what he said last Thursday. Trump stated, I assume he's going to be somebody that will be a worthy debater. This is in reference to President Biden, a worthy debater. Said, I would say I don't want to underestimate him. Now that's 180 degrees of what Trump has been saying the entire time President Biden's been in office. So what I want to ask you folks, why do you think only 48 hours or so before we have probably the most watched national debate in U.S. history, why is Trump suddenly changing his tune that much? I mean, he's been saying Biden can barely walk, can barely talk, can't put together two sentences. Now he's calling him a worthy debater and saying he doesn't want to underestimate him. What gives? Want to hear from the folks? Love to hear your opinion. You know how the program is. We don't block, ban, or censor anybody for their commentary. Program is MAGA friendly. Always has been, always will be. Nevertheless, liberals are welcome as well. And by the way, if you enjoy civilized dialogue without any concern of the host trying to limit, censor, or ban you for your opinions, follow the program on TikTok. My YouTube subscribers, feel free to drop a subscription. So looking in the comments, zombie versus madman. Damn, great choices we have. I have to go with what is a zombie Alex for the win. Wow. So we're looking at what it could be. That is very funny. A zombie versus a madman. And he's choosing, you know, what is a zombie Alex for the win Jeopardy style. Wow. Zombie versus madman. That's funny. Trump is simply covering all the bases. Well, you can't cover if one base says that Biden can't put together a sentence, can't walk, can't talk, and the other base is referring to him as a worthy debater. That's not even the same game. You can't cover bases that are that far apart. That's a lot more than 90 feet apart. But I want to ask you folks, why do you think he's changing the tune so much? He is simply training himself for self-constraint. You can train yourself from self-constraint, but if you're stating something that is 180 degrees of what you just stated a few weeks ago, that is worthy of an explanation, in my humble opinion. Try and put Biden at ease before he slaughters him in a debate. So if he refers to, if Biden is completely out of his mind, is there a way to actually put him at ease? I mean, if he's completely demented and don't know where the hell he's at, you're telling me that you can find somebody who doesn't know where they're at, can't string together a sentence, and talk them into being at ease? I don't remember dementia being that way. Let me go to the box. The one and only Country Hound Dog. Good afternoon, Country Hound Dog. Why is Trump making such an abrupt change on how he's describing Biden? Hound Dog, what say you?
I kind of agree with what that one person put in the sentence there. He said, trying to put him at ease, maybe get him to catch him off guard. But, Tim, you know as well as I do, and you've seen it. You've watched TV. You've seen Joe Biden stumble upstairs. You've seen him actually not know which way to exit off a stage. You have seen these things, and his, whether it's a speech impediment or it's cognitive, whichever, he does struggle to put sentences together and keep them in order.
Yeah, but I do have to ask you, how do you, if Biden is out of it, as Trump and yourself stating, how do you explain the State of the Union address? I didn't see any of that during that address.
I missed that. I've been running the road service. I've been running like a rented mule these last 2 weeks.
All right.
So I missed that.
Yeah.
But if he managed to keep that straight, I guarantee they probably had a teleprompter with oversized lettering so you could see it clearly.
Well, keep in mind, while they're having a debate, Trump is on stage with him. If Biden is reading from a teleprompter, Trump should say that during the debate, shouldn't he?
He should. And one thing I have heard about this debate, and I'm not sure whether I'm going to like it or dislike it, okay? They said that they are going, in order to try to keep the peace and make it a more civilized debate, if they're addressing Biden, Trump's mic is going to be muted, and vice versa. Now,
do you agree with that? You think that's a good idea? You think that's
I'm not sure how well it will work, okay? I'm not sure. In some ways I think it's going to be a good thing. In other ways I think it can, I almost kind of wonder if it ain't going to let the debate slide one way or the other.
How so?
Well, if they have the ability to mute their mics, how many times have you been in a live on here and somebody get mad at you and mute you so you can't finish saying what you had to say?
Well, but I agree with you. That would certainly not look good. But going into the debate, when it's your time to speak, you already know you haven't allotted 30, 40 seconds or whatever the case may be. So if they mute you before that time is up, there's going to be MAGA, there's going to be liberals and progressives, everybody watching the debate and keeping time. If somebody gets muted before their allotted time is up, that will certainly come out. Now, it's a difference if they give you 30 seconds or a minute to answer a question, and you decide instead of that minute, I need a minute and 15 seconds, so your last 15 seconds are muted, because you know ahead of time when you start speaking, because there's also a timer on stage. Like when I'm doing my lives at home, I have a timer behind me. They have a timer just like that. You know how long you got to speak.
Right, and I think it's going to force both of them to get to the point faster. And when you try to get to the point faster, okay, sometimes that extra 15 seconds allows you to make a better point. Instead of being a point that scores you 75% of the vote, you might make a point that scores you 95%. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. But I will respond. I agree with you that it could lead to you making a better point. But that is Country Hound Dog. That's what debate prep is about. Is preparing you for what might be asked and giving you a way to learn to minimize your answers down to the allotted time. Like when I do my videos on TikTok and on YouTube, my shorts, I get 60 seconds. And sometimes I want to say something to the audience that may need 75 or 80 seconds. You got to learn to train it so it fits. And I have to do that myself. So that's what the debate prep is about.
Right, and I agree with you, and you're right about that. And like I said, that's why I wonder, I don't know if I'm going to like or dislike the new format they're going to use. And I believe it's CNN that's hosting it this year.
Yes.
Now, you and I both know CNN does tend to lead lean left.
Yeah, but what network doesn't lean right as far as Trump is concerned? He's criticized Megyn Kelly and Fox. I mean, what network does Trump believe is favorable?
I'll be honest with you. I don't think there's no news network that's going to ever give you the entire truth.
Well, you can't,
Okay.
but every network.
I do my best. I do my best. I will actually, if I catch a news story that is done by CNN and Fox, I listen to both, and you'll realize you'll hear Fox spin it one way, CNN spin it another way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but let me just say it this way. Every network in existence can't be anti-Trump. If you listen to Trump, he makes it sound like every network in existence doesn't like him.
Well, Fox was the most fair to Trump. I will say that.
Well, yeah, he's calling in the network live. I mean, he has Sean Hannity's phone number. Most of the Fox News personalities have either invited Trump on their show, or many of them have left Fox News and went to work with Trump's campaign. He is deeply tied into that network.
And that is true. There have been times I've seen Fox News has actually invited Joe Biden on, and Biden turned them down.
Yeah, but it's a big difference between inviting Biden on and having somebody like Jesse Waters on Air Force One, or having Sean Hannity and Judge Jeanine Pirro hosting rallies. If you want to say that CNN is anti-Trump, you got to look at Fox News as if they are in the bag for Trump. They are actually participating and actively assisting him outside of their news coverage.
And I could see that. I could see that being, happening. And the reason why I bring that up, though, is with this debate being on CNN, and this is, again, falls back to being able to mute the mics, will CNN be truly fair to Trump in this debate, or are they going to cut him off prematurely?
Well, as I stated, there will be bean counters watching the debate on the right and the left. The minute Trump starts speaking, if you got 60 seconds, you got 60 seconds. At the end of the debate, saying that I needed 75 to make my point, that's your fault. I mean, when you start speaking, you have 60 seconds. That's it. The mic goes off.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And so, I mean, we're going to see. And like I said, I don't know whether I'm going to like or dislike.
You're not going to like it. You're not, because Trump is guaranteed to say that CNN did not treat him fairly. I don't think Trump.
Well, I know. I expect he'll say that.
Yeah.
But that's no different than if Fox hosted one, and they're Biden's going to say they treated him unfairly.
Yeah, but the problem is Trump said the Fox News debate treated him unfairly too. I mean, like every debate he's had, he said the people were treating him unfairly.
I don't know. I think, like I said, Fox has treated him the most fair out of all of them.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. But Fox, we also know Fox has been shook up a lot with a lot of their commentators and their hosts being changed around. O'Reilly is gone. I think Megyn Kelly left.
Yeah.
Fox has been shook up a lot.
Yeah, but Fox primetime lineup, you got Jesse Waters. I think Laura Ingraham is at 7 p.m. Eastern. Then you got Jesse Waters at 8. Then you have Sean Hannity and Greg Gutfeld in there. All of them folks are highly favorable to Trump. All of them. They're not unbiased towards Trump. They are biased in his direction. All their entire primetime lineup has met Trump, been on Air Force One. Sean Hannity got his personal phone number. All of those folks. That's not unbiased coverage. That is pro-Trump coverage.
That is.
Yeah.
But if you look at people like Rachel Maddow, and what's the newscast commentator? I forget his name. He has glasses. It's a guy. He's a young guy. I forget his name.
You're not talking about Don Lee. Some of them folks have left CNN too.
But Rachel Maddow is still there.
Yeah, you talking about MSNBC? I don't watch. Yeah, I don't know enough about MSNBC. But by the way, MSNBC. Yeah, but MSNBC, unlike Fox News that started out claiming to be fair and balanced, MSNBC made it clear that they leaned left from day one. They didn't try to hide it like Fox did.
And that's true. And I'm telling you, you listen to Rachel Maddow just one time about Trump or any right-leaning, conservative, and you'll see why. It's like, holy cow, you know?
Well, it's the same thing Fox is doing. They're just doing it for the left. Fox News, Judge Jeanine Pirro, for instance, she is just as hard on the left as anything MSNBC can do to the right. Judge Jeanine Pirro is that far to the right. So, I mean, it kind of is what it is.
The biggest thing with MSNBC that I see is they will allow their commentators to put opinions out there without, full facts. Now, CNN and Fox will put their opinion out, but they will say, here is the facts.
You didn't hear about the Fox News Dominion lawsuit for $750 million? There was no facts in that.
Well, that's one case, though.
That's one very big case about a national election.
Though, what I'm saying is with MSNBC, it's a consistent thing with them.
You do realize that Dominion lawsuit, that one case you're talking about, people died. That was a major election. That's not just some small lie.
No, I'm not saying it is a small one,
okay.
But I am saying it is the one time, that it happened, and they got called on it, and they got busted out for it and demolished for it.
Well, I don't want to go down the laundry list, but I watch a lot of Fox, even more so than CNN, and I don't watch MSNBC at all. And I can tell you Fox is live considerably more than once. I was watching Fox News the evening of January 6th when Judge Jeanine Pirro from the studios in New York said that was Antifa. She's not there. She don't know what the hell's going on. And she's already on TV saying it's Antifa. Everything on Fox News is not true.
Well, no, and the same with CNN and MSNBC. Right. That's why I say, listen to both of them.
Right.
And they're both going to run the same stories. And you just have to figure out, you'll hear both of them. There's certain facts that they will say that will line up with each other. That's the facts you can count are more than likely 99% true. Then the ones that don't line up, you better do your own research and make sure of.
Fair enough.
So,
all right, I don't disagree with that. I do believe in watching a wide variety of media. Country Hound Dog, appreciate you coming on. I do have to move on. So at the end of the day, do you believe Biden's going to come out there and appear fairly cognitive, or do you think he will look like he's out of his mind?
If he is cognitive, I would say give him a blood test to see what he has in his system.
All right, Hound Dog, I appreciate it.
I mean, like I said, you've seen him on TV, you've seen it yourself. He does have his issues, and I'm not going to sit here and say whether he's cognitive or not. I'm not a doctor, and I didn't diagnose him, but I will say this, that they have had, there was a special investigation thing they did, and his own people came back and said, yes, his cognitive is gone, but he stayed in there as president. I guess it wasn't enough to remove him. And in a way, I'm glad, because I don't think Kamala knows her head from a hole in the ground when it comes to running the country. She has a lot to learn.
All right.
Could she do good? Yes, if she learns what she needs to learn.
Fair enough.
Just like Trump needs to learn to watch what he says.
And that's never going to happen. Appreciate you coming on, Hound Dog. Come on back anytime. I will say this about Kamala. If you don't like Kamala now, you're never going to like her. I mean, I just strongly believe that, because my last caller was saying, she needs to, she's not ready for game time. If you don't like Kamala now, you're never going to like her. It doesn't matter if she went back to Yale, Harvard, got a degree, learned to hang around some of the best politicians. If you don't like her now, you're never going to like her. Gen Xer. All Trump has to do to prepare for this debate is to go to the local nursing home and argue with their dementia patients. I like it, but I think you're full of shit. Gen Xer certainly is a friend of the show, says all Trump has to do to prepare for this debate is to go to local nursing homes and argue with their dementia patients. Wow. All right, going back to the box, let me go ahead and give my spiel that we normally do before I go to the next caller. Tap the screen, get the likes up. We're way down. Almost 500 of you in here. So certainly tap the screen, get the likes up to about 20,000. Helps out the algorithm, brings in more math. MAGA. You know, we don't block, ban, or censor anyone. We go left of Bernie Sanders, Trump having dinner with QAnon. Everyone is welcome on the program. You don't have to agree with anybody in the comment section or the host. It's all about free speech. Same on YouTube. Feel free to give your boy, by smashing the likes rather, give your boy a like. Top 3 dots at the top right of your screen helps out the program. Smash that like button is what I was trying to say. MAGA is funny, says Gerard. Okay, you can't allow your hatred for Trump to blind you to what's going on. Pay attention. I agree, hatred can blind folks. But then I would follow up by saying, is the hatred to Trump based on fictional circumstances? Or are there legitimate reasons to hate Trump? That's what I would follow up on. Going back to the box, we'll continue the program on with R.L. Stafford. Appreciate your support going to the box. R.L. Stafford, good afternoon. Asking that question, with Trump suggesting that Biden is now likely to be a worthy debater and he doesn't want to underestimate him, why is he changing his tune so significantly on President Biden, R.L.?
Yeah, because everybody witnessed the
State of the
State of the Union.
Yeah.
And they saw how Biden performed in the State of the Union. So now what MAGA's trying to do is put themselves in a no-lose situation. If Biden performs well, they're going to say he's on drugs. If he performs poorly, they're going to say they won. They're going to try to claim, MAGA's going to claim victory no matter the outcome of the debate. They're going to claim victory no matter what.
Well, first thing I would have to ask.
They're trying to set it up to where they can't lose.
Yeah. First thing I would have to ask is, where is the scientific studies on how you can use drugs to temporarily suspend the effects of dementia? Have you ever heard of that? Because I have not.
I've never heard of that, man. You know, but here's the thing. I think Democrats need to say: if Trump is calm, then he's on drugs.
That's a good comeback, right? Because if Trump doesn't have his natural demeanor, which is fairly bullyish, boyish, if he doesn't do it, what has he been taking, a downer or something? That's a good point to make. That's a good point. Thank you for real quick.
I think MAGA is afraid of this debate because the mics are going to be muted, and they won't be in the crowd to be having a loud outburst, silly outbursts over anything Trump says. And Trump is going to have to stand there and talk about the issues, something he would not win on. This is why Trump is getting nervous now, because he knows he has a no-win situation in this debate. I don't agree that it's a no-win situation. And by the way, Kevin J., thank you for that subscription that did not go unnoticed. Appreciate your support. I don't think Trump is in a no-win situation. He absolutely can win, but I do agree with you that he's prepping himself from both sides. No, what I mean when I say no win, I think he know he can't win on the issues. He can't win on the issues.
I don't know.
You know,
explain it. What do you mean?
That's why I think he's nervous, because he can't overtalk Biden because his mic will be cut off. And American people is finally going to get to listen to the issues. Hopefully, we can hear the issues instead of all the mess that he wants to get into. You know.
So it sounds like Nana in the comments, it sounds like you actually agree with Nana, who says the only way Trump could win this debate is if Biden is significantly underprepared. Is that your sentiment as well there, RL?
Absolutely. And the Democrats know that. That's why they got him off somewhere, you know, studying the playbook. You know, That's a smart move, you know. And that's what debate is about. Who's going to be the most prepared? And flying him to wherever he is practicing his debate is a smart move. All of a sudden, we as Americans are making smart things dumb. You know,
we are lowering the bar.
Everything that's smart, dumb, and everything that's dumb is smart because of the Trump now.
We are lowering the bar on some things, but I do have to push back. This is a comment coming from YouTube. 2007, Eva Vincent says, can't win on the issues. What a fool. You're suggesting that there is no way Trump can win on the issues. I don't know if I agree with you. Elaborate on what you mean when you say there's no way he could win on the issues.
Well, what I'm saying, what has he done for America that worked? You know, I mean, if people and you talk to the Trump supporters, they say, "Well, you were doing good, and when Trump was president, so why did he lose? If we were doing so good, why did he lose the election?"
Well, they
Well,
believe.
they cheated on him. It's always something with those MAGA people, man. And if you ask them name one thing, one legislation Trump has signed into law, they can't name one thing that he has done that has helped us all.
Well, I don't think any president or leader is going to help. There's always going to be, no matter what you do for this country, there's always going to be people who say you did the wrong thing. If you help the little people, the folks who have are going to say that was not what I wanted. If you drill, the folks who are in favor of alternative energy is going to. So there's no way to do something for us all. But the idea that Trump doesn't have any good policies, I don't know if I agree with you. I think you lean left. So you may not see what many on the right view as good policies.
So what? So name one.
Oh wow! The fact that he appointed 3 Supreme Court justices and almost guaranteed to replace Alito and Thomas when he get in there, nothing's bigger than that. If Trump,
how is that working out? How is that working out? Do you think those 3 justices are blind? You think those? See, justice supposed to be blind. These people they're obviously leaning right.
They don't give it. I don't think either side gives a damn about fairness at this point. I get your point. Alito and particularly Clarence Thomas are incredibly biased to the right. I get that, but they are on their side. Yeah, you're a bully, but you're a bully for me. So as far as Trump is concerned, his Supreme Court picks have been golden for the right. No policy is going to supersede the benefits they're getting out of what could be a right-wing America for the rest of your life and mine.
Yeah, but that's my point, Hampson. You named something that supposed to be for the better for all of us. The Supreme Court justice, their job is to work for America, not Trump. You know, and that's what I'm talking about. That's not a win. Anybody who's
it's a win to them. It's a win to them.
You're supposed to interpret the law. Their job is to interpret the law.
I get your point from a position of fairness. I'm just simply saying when you're saying Trump has no policies, that is a win to millions of Americans. Even though I agree with you, the Supreme Court is clearly biased by, particularly with Alito and Thomas. But to the folks on the right, that is a win. You talking about the fairness? We can certainly entertain that, but to the folks on the right, Trump's Supreme Court picks is a huge win.
Yeah, but that's my point. But it shouldn't be a Supreme Court justice shouldn't be a win or a loss for anybody because they're supposed to be biased, right? They're supposed to be biased. I'm talking about what legislation, like economically, that he has passed, that has helped America. Something that can help us, you know, at the gas pump or at the grocery store. You know, he lied about COVID, and we got in so much deep doo-doo with that we got so far behind in COVID because he was lying about it. You know, and that's what I'm talking about. What policy did he put in place to help us that was designed to help us all?
Tax cuts? People on the right believe the tax cuts helped us all.
Do you believe that?
I'm not on the right. I lean left a little bit. So, no, I don't particularly. I believe what Trump did with the tax cuts was a temporary Band-Aid over a really, really big wound. But many on the right have a different opinion.
I don't think those. I think the tax cut was for the rich, and it was a Band-Aid for the little people. Yeah. It was a Band-Aid for the little people.
Well,
you know, and I think his tariffs really killed America.
But think about what you just said. You believe the tax cuts were great for the rich and only somewhat of assistance to the little people. Fact is, if you have money, if you are among the rich, the right is more favorable to you. So perhaps he was doing what his constituents, many in the wealthy class, wanted. I mean, the right does favor the wealthy.
You have wealthy donors on the Democratic side, but you don't see them out here begging for money, begging for more tax cuts. You have wealthy donors on both sides. You probably have more wealthy donors on the Democratic side than Republican side.
I don't know.
But you don't see wealthy Democrats begging for more money and making the little people smaller.
Yeah, but I don't think that the wealthy Democrats, I don't think getting wealthier is the primary reason they're voting. You listen to Warren Buffett talk, clearly he's not voting because he wants more money. I think on the right, their actual income is part of the primary reason they're voting. If you're voting to tax the rich, for instance, while being rich, obviously you're not voting based on your income. The folks on the right that are wealthy, they don't believe taxing the rich is a good idea.
Well, I say it like this. I think the president should try to help the majority of America. And the rich is not the majority of America. See, they're going to be rich anyway. They're not going to be hurting whether you get them a tax cut or not. So why are you giving them a tax cut? Especially especially at a time where all Americans was kind of hurting. You go give them probably the largest tax cut to the rich ever, right?
Yeah, that's what he said. That's what Trump said.
Yeah, that's exactly the largest ever for the rich. So he told you to your face, you ain't nothing to him.
No,
you know,
but you're spinning that to a degree where it's actually unfavorable to Trump. I'm going to say it this way. A lot of folks on the right, even those who don't have as much, will tell you, I've never gotten a job from a poor person. So yeah, Trump is doing for the wealthy, but they believe that by giving the wealthy benefits and incentives, it will incentivize them to create jobs and do more for those who are, but they believe in trickle-down economics. So they believe what Trump is doing is a good policy for the folks who don't have as much.
Yeah, but we have seen that playbook, and we know trickle-down economics has.
They got a different view of it. They got a different view of it.
And I've never seen a rich man without a poor man working for him.
Oh shit! I can't argue with that. Damn, I wasn't expecting that. But they do believe that view from their own aspect, they do believe that trickle-down economics works, and that's where the whole deal is. We, many folks on the left view America from a fundamentally different angle than they do. I do got to move it on, but I just wanted to answer that because you say Trump has no good policies. People on the right see a host of good policies coming from Trump.
The next MAGA you get, ask them that question, and watch how they divert to somewhere else.
All right. Oh, the pipeline's probably gonna come up.
Watch how they change the conversation.
Let me ask you this then, because Trump is, before I let you go, Trump is often talking about giving money to HBCUs. Do you think that was a good policy?
All presidents does that.
That ain't what I asked you.
The last couple of presidents has given money to HBCUs.
Okay, did he join? You said all presidents do it. Then did he join all presidents and provide a good policy to HBCUs?
Yeah, but I think some kind of way he took the money back.
Well, you gave a detailed answer, but it started with yeah. I gotta move it on though, RL. First time talking.
I appreciate it. Appreciate it, Hamster.
Good talk. Come on back anytime. Moving the program on, college tuition is hyperinflated because the federal government got involved in the 1960s. Fool, says Joseph Kuhn. Obviously, Joseph is unaware of the fact that if the federal government did not get involved, people who look like me would not be allowed to go to college at all in many universities. But I'm assuming he's overlooking that detail. Going back to the box, tap the screen, get your boy on up to 25,000 likes. Appreciate the nearly 600 of you in here helping out the algorithm. Same on YouTube. Feel free to smash that like button. And somebody says not true, says Jose. So I'm assuming, Jose, you're stating that African Americans back in the 1960s, before the Civil Rights Act, would be invited to go to any university or college of their choice. With a name like Jose. Wow. Going back to the box, thank you folks that are tapping the screen. Moving on, we will go to Kevin J, recent subscriber. Thank you, by the way, Kevin, for your support. Talking about Trump completely changing his tune and suggesting that Biden may now be a worthy debater. Why do you think he's changing his mind so much?
He's lowering expectations.
Why would he do that if Biden is completely out of his mind? Why would you need to do that?
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, okay, I can hear you now. You said if Biden something, and then it kind of blacked out on me.
I was stating if Biden is completely out of his mind and can't string together a sentence, why would you need to lower expectations? I mean, just let the guy go out there and show that you've been right about him.
Well, I think that's the gamble, right? The problem is that Biden keeps speaking fairly regularly and he's sounding fine, and then he has his gaffe moments and that kind of a thing. But in reality, he speaks better more often than he doesn't. Yeah. And so you got to lower those expectations. What if he shows up and he actually speaks well and he's been studying at Camp David for a while now, and he's going to stay there until Thursday when he goes down for the debate, prepping, and
but
so
can
when
you,
he shows
but
up,
I have to,
well,
yeah, but I have to,
he's all hopped up on drugs.
Yeah, but Kevin, I have to ask you, is it possible to take somebody who is completely out of their mind, advanced dementia, put them in a debate prep for 12 days and make them sound dignified? Does dementia work like that?
No, I don't think it does, but I'm not a doctor either, but I don't personally believe that he has dementia. I believe that he's older, he's a little bit slower, but I've watched him speak a bunch of times and he speaks just fine a lot of the time. Not all the time.
Right.
But you can zero in. The same happens with Trump, right? Trump speaks normal a lot of the time, and then he rambles off onto crazy stuff, and then he comes back. I think they're just older, that's all.
So when Trump says he can't string together two sentences, you're saying that Trump is not being honest about that?
I think Trump's not honest about just about anything. Did you see he flipped on immigration again? And now he wants to give green cards to everybody that graduates from college or junior college.
Yeah, we did cover that on the program. Do you think he'd follow through, suggesting that anybody who graduates from college or junior college would get a green card? Do you think Trump would follow through with that promise?
No, I think that the people around him might be smarter than that to know that could invite all sorts of corruption and that kind of thing. And I think that what Trump does is he basically tests things out on the people that he's talking to. And when he gets a reaction out of it, he goes with that. I mean, I dislike the man a lot, but I give him credit. He's really good at reading his crowd or whoever he's talking to.
So how is he
and figuring out what it is that they want to hear?
So kind of like that sounds like kind of the path that a comedian or a performer might take. But how do you think he would be able to do at a debate where there is no crowd to read?
Yeah, I think that's going to hurt him.
Wow.
I think that's going to hurt him. I think the microphone thing, I'm kind of bummed that they're doing the microphone thing, although I don't think that'll shut him up. I think he knows that from across the stage, Biden's still going to hear him yapping in his ear,
right,
even when the microphone's not on, and it's going to stumble Biden is the intention, I think.
I'm with you. I'm a little bummed about them turning the mic off, but I think what they should do, because in debates in the past, okay, you get a minute to speak, and if you're making a point, they would normally give you 5, 10, 15 seconds to wrap it up. You'd hear the bell going. But this time they're going to cut it off right at. I think the issue is, because there would be nothing wrong with letting Trump get 5 or 6 seconds to finish his point. The problem with Trump, though, is if you give him 5 or 6 seconds, and then once the other guy starts rebutting, he's going to jump in again and cut that guy off too. So at some point, you have to say, sir, you can't dominate the debate.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's going to go. I have a feeling that Biden's going to show up and be able to talk and get his point across and that kind of a thing. I think Trump's going to I think it's going to basically be another version of what we saw 4 years ago.
Without the audience and them turning the mic off, I don't know if it's possible for it. You tell me the "won't you shut up, man" debate. I don't think it's possible to do that this time.
That, like I said, I think the microphone part, that's the problem, right? There's no audience, so the microphone is for the TV cameras. Okay,
Right.
The microphone doesn't shut Donald Trump off 10, 12 feet away from Biden.
What do you mean?
You know what I mean?
So in other words,
So-
if he talks loud enough, his voice would go through Biden's mic?
Well, and it doesn't need to go through Biden's mic. It needs to go through to Biden. That's the point that I'm getting at, right? Is if he keeps overpowering and bullying, he gets to throw Biden off his game.
Oh,
Right,
Biden.
so-
Has a 40 slip, you called him Oh Biden.
Oh yeah, no, he's old.
No, you said oh. Oh, you said old. I
Oh.
thought you said oh apostrophe, like from Obama.
Oh, yeah. he throws Biden off his game. That's the
Yeah.
thing. And wow, I didn't really. I said, "Oh, Biden." Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
you said oh Biden.
But either way, that's the thing. Is I don't like I said, the microphones are for us. You know,
Yeah.
but him yelling across the stage can still throw Biden off.
Yeah, but that would then make Trump look really off the hinges. They don't turn your mic off and you're just sitting there ranting and raving and yelling and you don't have a mic on now. I mean, because even if we can still hear him, the audio is going to drop. That would make him look like a bumbling buffoon at that point. I mean, you got your 60 seconds to speak just like Biden gets his, and you're constantly talking over the guy. Your audio's low. That would make Trump start to look bad at that point.
I don't think that he's that concerned with that, honestly.
Wow.
I mean, he's already testing that theory out at his rallies. You know, the other day he was at a rally and he was talking about even the mic shut off or whatever, he'd still just keep talking and whatnot, you know, or should I overpower him, you know?
Yeah, he did
or
say
should I
that.
sit back?
Wow.
What's that?
He did say overpower. I do, and his audience went ape shit about that. They want him because he was like, "Should I be nice?" And they went boo. And should I overpower? And yay, they want to hear that.
Yeah, and so I think he's going to go in with that in the back of his mind because even if there isn't a crowd there, he's remembering his crowds.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I think if you listen, you know, maybe I'll lose intentionally, you know, or maybe I'll overpower him, or maybe, you know, he wants to keep that bar all over the place and lower the expectations in case he turns out to look stupid.
He is a master at reading off the audience, and with no audience,
Yeah.
you don't, even if you're over talking Biden, there's no way to know if the people at home are rooting for you or not. You don't know if you're looking like a fool or if you're looking like a hero because there's nobody to cheer, and you know the CNN host ain't gonna cheer Trump home for a damn thing. So
Isn't it going to be funny though if the only people he has to read on that are the two CNN hosts and he starts playing off of what he thinks they want to hear?
well, I don't think I gotta move it on, but I don't think there's no way you're going to see Trump go through this debate without criticizing the host of that. I mean, his people are already going ape shit on Taffer.
Oh, yeah.
So they're going to get criticized the minute they shut his mic off. They're going to be called, you know, bias and things like that. There's no way around that. But I got to move it on, Kevin. Thank you for the subscription, by the way, too. Appreciate
Hey,
that.
yeah, no problem. I thought I had a month-to-month subscription, but then it was telling me to subscribe, and I was like, I thought I did that, but apparently I only did 1 month. So
Well, I do appreciate that, man. I don't get a lot of those, so thank you very much. And
absolutely, you have a good.
oh, thank you. Very quick, moving on with the program. Foster, by the way, with another super chat says, Klan, oh my God, this is strong. Klan loving, pedo sniffing Joe. You guys know I don't block, ban, or censor comments. So even if I don't favorite, you know, certainly with the form of a super chat, I am absolutely going to read it on YouTube because it turns the whole damn screen colors. So anytime you send over a super chat, Klan loving Joe Biden. Well, I bet it. Klan loving Joe. This is hard to read. Klan loving. So we're talking about the KKK. Klan loving pedo sniffing Joe has been missing for a week. He's doing nothing but running lines. Oh my God. Running lines as in cocaine. He's doing nothing but running lines and practicing his pre-answered softball, says FJ. And he got on fuck Joe Biden, says Foster. Wow. So you think Biden is somewhere sniffing cocaine? Does dementia improve with cocaine? Where is the medical community that is coming forward talking about how much using narcotics helps out symptoms of dementia? Fox News got medical doctors and things. I haven't heard anybody saying this. Where is that coming from? Wow. All right, let me go back to the box. One of my subscribers there, Den Cow, Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Not as in cocaine, as in practicing lying, smart ass. No, he meant cocaine, Matt. I see you in the comments there on YouTube. No, he meant cocaine. You think the guy's gonna call him a pedo and child sniffer and then say, no, I only meant lies? You're right. He meant cocaine. Cal, good afternoon.
Yeah, hey, just a response to that. Could you imagine all of the senior citizens' homes will be surrounded by dope dealers?
Right. If
hanging out outside.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. My grandmother, who passed away in 2006, who I was very close with. In fact, I lived with her toward the end of her life for a while. She had dementia. She started forgetting her husband and all that. I hate to say it, but if we could bring her back for it might be worth giving her a few hits to turn her to normal. She actually had dementia. I've seen how it works. I've never heard anybody say that cocaine can improve somebody's symptoms of dementia. But the folks are saying cocaine. I've heard methamphetamines like meth. I've heard Mountain Dews. They're coming up with everything, man.
Yeah, but we all know that none of that stuff works or people would be using it.
Right. And Moogly on YouTube, thank you for the super chat, says indeed what you and I are saying, Cal. There is no on and off switch for dementia. I don't know where that's coming from. And I'd be challenged. I challenge any right-wing media outlet. Bring some doctors on that actually have credentials that we can look up and hold them accountable, and let us hear them talk about how dementia can be temporarily cured with narcotics. Notice there's no medical professionals coming forward saying this stuff.
Right, but they don't need to, because we understand that the cult of personality that is Trump, when he says it, that's all they need. They don't necessarily need for somebody to prove it.
So they'll
I don't need no doctor to tell me this stuff. I got enough common sense to know that this stuff is just not true. So and then when you bring a doctor, they'll be like, well, that doctor's, he's a left-leaning, he's a rhino, he's something. There's never gonna be enough to turn a lot of his people, away from him. So that's
you know what? I'd be curious. Dr. Oz of Oprah Winfrey fame, he clearly was running as a Republican, had Trump's endorsement. Somebody need to corner his ass and ask him that question. He clearly is not biased. He's not a liberal. Corner his ass and ask him, does cocaine improve? Because he's covered a host of segments on all types of illness, and I'd be curious to ask him.
And then what would be his new name after that?
He'd be Crooked Dr. Oz.
Right. He'd be Rhino. He'd be every name.
Oh, you mean if he doesn't say the right thing, they wouldn't like him?
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I mean, I've never heard of this stuff.
The debate, I think all Biden needs to do is have a few actual policy details and prescriptions on what he plans to do, because Trump can get up there and he can talk all he wants to about, I'm going to deport these people, I'm going to do that, but he will never give any details about how he's actually going to do it. And I think people that want to sit down and watch a debate want to see policy details.
That's easy though, Cal. Trump said he wants to give the largest deportation in history. I mean, a lot of the folks that are here actually are here as asylum seekers. They're not here. They didn't just run across the border. So there is some little bit of records on people that came here seeking asylum. I don't know if he could get away with an executive action, but he could attempt an executive action that simply says, all the asylum seekers, they have a month to come forward and have their cases held. Put a bunch of judges on and deny most of them and kick them out. I mean, put out warrants for the ones that don't show up. I mean, I think he could kick out a lot of people. If let's say he wins Congress and the Senate, I think he could give you that.
Well, I mean, I think it would. Well, we all know that hypocrisy is not a deterrent to any of the people on the right. But coming up there saying, okay, we're gonna add all these new judges. We're gonna add all of these all of that stuff costs money.
They don't care about that. They don't mind spending. Just like putting the 10 Commandments in schools, that costs money. Just like when I talk about giving everybody a voter ID that the right believes everybody should have, they don't want to pay for that because it costs money. But putting the 10 Commandments in schools, they don't mind. I mean, they don't mind spending money when it's something they care about.
Well, I'll just say, as far as that's concerned, me and you can have dialogue to basically say that Trump will not say the same things you just said. He would not get up there and say, when they ask for details, he would not say what you just said.
But as you pointed out, he don't need to. His supporters ain't going nowhere.
I'm talking about the people that honestly want to go watch a debate to see what details are in these policies. Yeah. Not just everybody that's been to a Trump rally can tell you, I'm going to deport a bunch of people. But what are the details? What are we going to have? How are we going to do this when they already talking about police forces are stretched thin? You can't use active duty military people to go out and round up Americans. That's against the Constitution. Like how is he going to actually do these things?
I'll tell you, even as someone who leans left to some degree, I think Trump could actually deliver that promise, as I pointed out to you earlier. He could deport. If he funds police, or better yet, ICE in the federal police. He's already talking about he wants to give police immunity. If he does anything near that, he could easily give them powers. And the federal police, we're not talking about the local city and state, talking about the federal police. If he gives them powers to start getting rid of folks and start creating these, I don't want to say Gestapo, but henchmen of sorts. They have federal powers. They can go in cities and go raid factories and places. I think he can get a lot of them out of here. I don't think they're that hard to find.
Well, I'm not saying that he won't be able to grab a lot of people. But when you talk about in the millions, one thing he would not be able to overcome, and I don't care if he has both Congress, the House, and the Senate, is he would not have a filibuster-proof majority. He would not be able to just do the funding and do all of the stuff that we're talking about. He won't.
Yeah, but when you got a 6-3 majority on the Supreme Court, a fairly right-leaning court, a lot of his executive actions, they get challenged, particularly on anything. If he goes out overboard on getting folks out of the country and it's challenged in court and it goes up to the federal Supreme Court, do you feel confident that they're going to rule against Trump?
I think that the Supreme Court is right now they're riding on thin ice, and I think there's a limit to all of these right-wing conservative things they're going to do. You can see it in some of the judgments they're bringing out now. They're not totally in the tank for the right because they can't be. If they go too far, there would definitely be a movement to pack the courts and try to balance out the court, and they don't want that. So they're gonna pick and choose.
I don't disagree with you, but I will say this. There's a hell of a lot of independents and liberals that want some of these folks kicked out of the country as well, particularly in cities like New York and Chicago where they're on the streets. You got Fox News and right-wing media now running this story where 2 immigrants murdered a 12-year-old girl after sexually assaulting her. There's a lot of folks that are not just MAGA that want something done about this. So I don't know if that's one. Whereas you're saying he's going too far, I think he would get a lot of support for that.
I think what would definitely come out of it is there would be a wholesale stop and frisk movement, which we know even this right-leaning Supreme Court is not going for it. They got rid of stop and frisk for a reason. And if you allow all of these police forces around the country to have carte blanche to go and knock on people's doors and go up into businesses, there will be some repercussions from hell. But like you said, saying that he won't be able to accomplish some of this, I can't say he won't, but I can say that I believe at the end of the day that the American justice system there will be some pushback.
As one black man to the next, I wish I could say with confidence I feel the same way you do about the justice system, but unfortunately, I do not. Dencal, I got to move it on. You know what we got to do. Appreciate you coming on as usual, man.
All right. Good day.
All right. And by the way, I wanted to respond to a couple super chats. One of them being a correction from Foster, says, I actually did not mean cocaine. Okay, all right, my apologies. I don't mind conceding or apologizing when I'm wrong, but Foster says he didn't mean Biden was a coke sniffer. He says, I meant he's practicing the script. So my viewer in the comment section was right. He says he does love the Klan and sniffs kids, though. There's evidence and documentation. I would submit to you, there's no modern evidence that Biden loves the Klan. There is no, you're not going to present anything about Biden loving the Klan because you said there's documentation. No documentation you would present is even within the last 20 years. I mean, there is documentation that Trump identifies as a Democrat. He's on video saying it, but it's old. It's old. I'm not going to deny that there is possibility that Biden was racist as hell back in the day. But like I said, anything being brought up, even the crime bill is what, 30 years old this year. Real quick, Biden inflation and the Biden open border has created a crisis of rape, theft, and housing. Send them all back. Fuck Joe Biden and his DEI vice president. Yikes. You can't send them all back. And I'll tell you why. If you try to send them all back, just like when the Mandalay Bay mass casualty event, when Trump was talking about sometimes you got to fight with the NRA and they got in his ear and made him change his tune. There's a lot of people, folks, that support Trump, that donate to Trump, that lobby to the Trump administration, that hire undocumented people. There's a lot of money going into the Trump campaign from folks who regularly and routinely enjoy the cheap labor coming from undocumented immigrants. If Trump started stating that he wanted to send everybody back and got too aggressive with it, I think a lot of his donors would come and find him and tell him this ain't the way you do this. Just like the NRA did. Just like when he wanted to actually do something about mass casualty events and ban guns and take away due process to get mental. I mean, he was actually doing something, making an attempt to do something about mass casualty events. And the NRA talked to him 24 hours later, that was gone. And that's what would happen if Trump gets reelected and starts talking about mass deportation. Some of his donors are going to come forward and say, you can't take all my damn employees away. And I do believe I've had a few callers on the program. Andy, for instance, she's down in Alabama. She leans left, stating that their policies have made, it created an employee shortage. I think in Florida too, where they've had some of these undocumented resident laws in their states. And some of the people who were enjoying that cheap labor is like, we can't find anybody to do these jobs anymore. Like picking oranges and things like that. Anyhow, moving on with the program, have to solicit you folks to tap the screen. We're at a flat 30,000, but we can get the likes up to about 50 with 2 Ds, 50,000. Tap your screen, get the likes up. You know what I always ask, same thing on YouTube. Feel free to smash that like button. Top 3 dots on your screen will give you access to that. Not true, wise federal government invests heavily into their own native population and citizens first, says inspired by nations, or inspired by nature. You're saying that a wise federal government invests heavily into their own native population and citizens first. You mean like healthcare? You mean like education? You mean like free lunch in schools, welfare, food stamps for the poor? All of the things that the right is against? Really? I mean, I assume you lean right to make a statement like that. Everything the federal government would try to do to invest in its own citizens, the right is going to say, well, who's going to pay for that? Because I don't want to do it. The right is against just about every social program. The right has the moniker of, instead of giving money and helping out the poor, they should pull themselves up by them bootstraps and figure it out themselves. So I don't know if I agree with you on that. Going back to the box, we'll continue on with Tina. Good afternoon, Tina. Welcome to the program. I think I hit Tina. Maybe I didn't. Well, whoever I hit, they just dropped out. Let me try it again. We'll go ahead and move it on. What am I looking at? It's Tony Williams. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program, Tony. Blacks for Trump. You couldn't stay at one of his apartments.
Tony Williams.
Say that again?
Tony Williams.
Okay. How you doing, Tony? Good afternoon. So what do you think? Trump is changing his tune and suggesting that Biden might be a as he put it, a worthy debater. Why do you think he's changing his tune on Biden?
Well, I don't even think that Trump's going to show up because he's going to say it was rigged because that's all he talks about.
So you think Trump
You know?
is not going to show up 2 days from now?
He's not going to show up because he's talking about drug tests and stuff like that. Oh, I think Biden should take a drug test. But you have a parole officer and you don't want to take a drug test. So how do you put somebody else on the spot and you won't even do it?
Oh my God, I didn't think about that. So you're asking somebody else to take
it. About all the immigrants that are here, and you was making a point. A lot of those millionaires are making money off of people, off of the immigrants. Like one of the ladies said on The View one time, and she didn't mean to say, but she said, if we get rid of the Mexicans, who's going to clean our toilets? Yeah. They're making money off of the immigrants, and you know how many immigrants was out there working at Mar-a-Lago? Yeah. And Trump knew they didn't have papers, and he didn't even care because he was saving a couple of dollars. We're not going to vote for a hypocrite. You say one thing, but you do something else. You know what Trump needs to do? He needs to get a tattoo, and I don't mean to be fresh, but he needs to get a tattoo on his butt and run naked that says, I don't want your vote. Because when you start messing with Social Security, you're never getting elected. Because there's people out there that in a year or 2 or 10 years from now, they're going to retire, and they're going to be looking for that lump sum of money, and when you take it away, they're going to take you away.
The man got 70, but Tony, the man got 74 million votes. And by the way, William on YouTube saying I'm hang on. William on YouTube, the statement is that I'm intellectually dishonest. We certainly will tackle that in a second, but put a tattoo on his butt that says what again, Tony?
He should put a tattoo on his butt that says, I don't need your vote, and run naked down 42nd Street. Because when you mess with Social Security and you mess with women's rights, you're not going to win. They had those red states, Oklahoma, where they was pushing this guy to be the governor, and the women in that state, all red state. He didn't win because you can't mess with women, and you already know there's more women on this earth than there is men.
Yeah, but Tony, I got a lot. Rights, yeah, but Tony, I get a lot.
Taking their wig away.
You got some one-liners.
And I'm a woman.
He said it's like taking a wig away. But I get a lot of female MAGA on the program. I give a shout out to them all the time. There's a lot of women that are going to be voting Trump.
There's a lot of women that will say one thing, and just like there's a lot of people in the Republican Party that's going to say Trump this, Trump that. But when they get behind them doors and nobody's watching them, they're not voting for Trump because a lot of people do not want a felon as their president. Yeah. And you can't take that right from them.
Yeah. I did have an officer that is straight MAGA on the program, and he said exactly what you said. He's like, I'm a cop. I can't vote for a felon, even though he liked Trump's policies. But he said, I'm a cop. I can't vote
because
for a felon.
Because a lot of people have things that they take to heart. He was around some people that was higher ups, and he was making jokes about the gas chamber and stuff like that in front of Jews. You don't do that. You know how many Jews are out there?
Well,
and I lived around Jews all my life.
But I gotta say, I think right now, yeah, but with Netanyahu claiming that Biden is holding back weapons they can use for defense, I don't know. I think Netanyahu would probably favor the Jewish community. I think Netanyahu would probably favor Trump over Biden.
Let me tell you something. I don't think so.
No?
Because Trump got a lot of policies. See, Trump is wishy-washy because he'll say one thing and then he'll say something else. Just like he was saying to Hillary, lock her up. Then as soon as we started chanting that song, oh, why would you say that? Because you said it first. You taught us the verse.
Yeah. I don't know. I like I said, I think with the left calling,
we're not gonna vote for a liar. America wasn't based on lies. It was a lot of. And then you're saying you want to make America great. When was it great for me? I'm black. When was it great for me?
I don't think I can answer that question at all.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, you want to go back to those days. You want to put cops out there so they can just shoot and kill.
You really think that? Wrong. You really think that's what Trump wants to do? Is turn America into a country that's anti-black?
Why don't he put somebody in the schools to shoot and kill all those white shooters in the schools? I don't hear black people shooting up schools because we're too busy trying to learn.
No, come on, I can't let you get away with that. You got black people shooting people all over the damn place. They may not be doing it in the school.
All over the place, but would you name a couple of shooters in the school that went in there and took innocent kids out? Please, I'm waiting.
Is that the only? I mean, you realize how many underage? Hold on, hang on. You asked a question.
I told you a number of things that Trump is going to lose about.
Okay, but you did ask a question. Let me answer that. You realize how many African Americans murder juveniles in this? It don't have to be in school. Getting shot is getting shot.
Yeah, but when I send my kid to school, I don't send him to school because he got a hover under a chair because some white kid is walking around with an MR80 because Trump don't want to ban him. And you can try to sweep that under the rug if you want to, but too many people. Look at the guy that just lost everything because he said Shady Brook was a hoax. And those people lost their kids.
I hate
You
to
can
even.
sit up there and whitewash it if you want to. You can do that.
It ain't.
Because
Hold
I
on.
can't take that from you. But the truth stands, and the truth is always going to be the truth, and the lie is always going to die.
Okay, Tony.
And Trump sit up here and says one thing, just like when Obama was running for president.
Okay, Tony. Let me. Hold on, Tony. Let's have a conversation. Hold on. Hang on. Tony. Wait a minute. Tony, I'm gonna have to drop you.
You know, millions of people died with COVID, and Trump said, I didn't do that.
Hold on. We're not having a conversation. You just talking. What I'm saying is this. If you are concerned about the loss of an African American child, you do realize the chance of you losing your child as an African American is far higher in neighborhoods that have no white people in them at
But
all.
all lives matter. I'm not a racist.
You didn't hear what
All
I
lives
said.
matter.
You didn't hear what I said, though.
Okay, go ahead.
You do realize as a African American that may have a child, the chance of your child losing their life to gunfire is far higher in neighborhoods that have no white people in them at all.
I know that.
Okay.
But we're talking about when you send your kid to school.
That's the only time you care about your kid's life.
You can walk down the street and get hit by a car. We know that you can lose your life. But when we're talking about kids go to school to learn, and you sitting up in the school, and somebody comes through there, and you hovering under a chair because they shooting just anybody. And every life matters. Because when you shoot up a school, you don't just shoot black people. You shoot white, Puerto Rican, Jews. You know, well, Jews don't go to our school, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
Mexicans. So I'm not racist.
I don't know.
My
To
sister-in-law-
me,
Let me tell you something. My sister-in-law, my brother's wife, is Caucasian, and I would die for her any day. She is what every American should be, but everybody is not like that.
yeah.
But I'm talking about statistics, things that Trump can't change.
Yeah, I just have to say this though, and I agree with you.
Well, say it.
Well, let me say it. I do agree we need to do something about mass killings in this country, but I'm just simply saying, you mentioned a child going to school and being shot by white people. The overwhelming majority of firearm deaths that happen to black children, white people ain't got nothing to do with it. I'm just saying that is a
That's what
fact.
I said a school.
Is that the only place you care about black deaths is in school?
Kids get killed everywhere. They could go to the playground and get shot because there's a lot of gangbangers, but it doesn't still make it right.
No, it doesn't. But I just don't want. I want to make sure that when we're
I'm
talking
not
about,
prejudiced.
I want to make sure
I
when we're
love
talking about
everybody.
saving.
I think we're all God's children, animals, birds, everybody.
Yeah.
But Trump is not for American people. He needs to go over there and run in Russia.
74 million votes. Tony, you got 74 million votes. You say it's not for. Why did so many people vote for him?
Because you know why? Two things. When John Jones or whatever his name was over there had the people drinking that stuff and they died, the only difference between him and Trump is Trump charged you for the Kool-Aid.
Damn. All right, Tony. I gotta move it
All right,
on.
you take it easy.
Come on back anytime. We don't have to agree on
I'm gonna
everything.
come back.
Huh?
That's what I want. I want an America where we can be free. He wants to cut Social Security. If he cuts Social Security, we're gonna dry up with funds. In America, everybody gonna be standing with a tin cup.
Wow.
Because
All right.
Social Security, those funds, they take care of roadway. They do a lot of things. And when you dry up the source of money, then what you gonna do? You sure ain't gonna knock on Trump's door and say, "Oh, Trump, we need $1 million to fix the road over here, or the bridge collapsed."
Okay.
Social Security money does a lot of things.
All right.
And when you
So I got to move it on, Tony, but wow. The quote that the only difference between Trump and Jim Jones is Trump charges for the Kool-Aid. God damn. All right, tap the screen. I know a lot of my beloved MAGA ain't going to agree with that one, but that is a hell of a quote. I want to... Can't believe she said that. Wow. By the way, tap the screen, get the likes on up. I wanted to answer a comment. You know, I always tackle my super chat, certainly on YouTube. William Thank you for the donation. But William is critical of yours truly. I don't mind folks being critical of me. And by the way, DJ Julio. Wow. Thank you, DJ Julio. William says, handsome, you being intellectually dishonest. Now, you do get more space to type. So I need you to elaborate with that. Maybe I'm missing the point on something, but deliberately being intellectually dishonest is not my forte. Let me know what you think I'm being intellectually dishonest on. If you think I'm doing it intentionally, feel free to state that. You know we don't block, ban, or censor, so I will tackle that. She is so indoctrinated by the left news, it's ridiculous. Trump 2024 says Darth in regards to my last caller. Well, I mean, she has her own opinions. Listen, let me just say it this way. Everybody that has an opinion that is critical of Trump is not getting it from the media. There are legitimate reasons to criticize Biden and Trump that have nothing to do with the media. I know a lot of folks on the right believe that you can't develop an adversarial opinion of Trump unless you get it from CNN or MSNBC. I believe that is just insulting to the American constituency. There's legitimate reason. I mean, we see what happened with abortion. You think everybody like that? So there's legitimate reasons to criticize Trump. Got nothing to do with the media. Looking in the comments though, it doesn't get more emotional than voting for Trump no matter what the hell he does. That's a good point too, Mark Connor. Going to the box, tap the screen. The lights are coming in fairly slow today, affecting the algorithm significantly, but there's a few lazy thumbs in here. But we'll try to make it work. DJ Julio, good afternoon. Welcome to the program, Julio. Thank you for that support too, by the way. Julio, good afternoon.
How's it going?
It's going good. Is that a red hat I see?
Yeah, but it's a Milwaukee hat.
Okay. It's getting unsafe to wear red hats with white lettering in some places. I hear the Cincinnati Reds don't want to come out the dugout.
Listen, I'm in South Dakota. I fear nothing.
All right. You don't have anything to worry about up there.
That lady, holy cannoli.
Well,
Man.
What did she say? What did she say you disagree with?
What's an M80? I've never heard of anybody getting shot with an M80.
Well, you know what she meant. She's talking about she was talking about an AR-15 or an M16 or something of that nature. M14.
An M80 like a firecracker?
No, she's not talking about a quarter stick of dynamite. She's talking about long rifles.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can assume that. I don't know that's the fact. No. I mean, listen, I respect all women, 100%. But listen, you can't just talk over people and think that you're right because you're the last one talking, sweetheart. You can't.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. So I want to ask you, though, in regards to the actual topic, Trump, after years of saying Biden is out of his mind, he has dementia, is now referring to Trump as Biden, rather. Trump is now referring to Biden as a worthy debater. Why is he changing his tune only 2 days before the debate? My caller has frozen.
Come up. I think that it's
You froze. Start over.
Huh? Oh yeah, I had a phone call tried to come in. I agree with most of the other people you had up. I think that he just wants it to be very known that okay, yeah, maybe he is a good debater. So when he crushes them, then he didn't crush some old man that was falling asleep or shitting on stage or whatever the case.
Wait a minute. Why would you call somebody worthy if they're not worthy? Is he just lying and making things up?
It's just like people in the UFC. Yeah, I'm going up a worthy opponent, and then he just gets beat.
No, you didn't say no. He said he says the man has dementia. If Biden gets up there,
I know what he says. What I'm saying is he's just saying that so when Trump does beat him, they don't say, yeah, you only beat him because he's old and frail.
Okay, but where's the dementia part?
Well, he left that out this time.
Okay. What if Biden gets up there and actually sounds, intelligent, professional? How do you view that? What happened?
Hey, even the sun shines on a dog ass some days.
Is that how dementia works? You can time it for June 27th at 8 p.m. Eastern time? or Central?
Well, yeah, they have medicines that they give dementia patients that make them a little more coherent, a little more physical, a little more talkative.
So you believe it's
It
possible?
doesn't change the fact that they're in mental decline. It doesn't change that fact, but it gives them a day or two.
So you believe it's possible Biden may be drugged up on Thursday?
Listen, I wouldn't call it drugged up. I don't like that terminology, drugged up. I mean, if you're on medication for something that you have, you're on medication for something that you have. I mean, obviously he should take it every day. If he's going to take that shit, he should take it every day.
Yeah. I want to read a quote to you, and I want you to hear this quote. You can give me any opinion on it you want. By the way, folks, tap the screen, get the likes up to about 60,000. Almost 400 of you in here. Lord, YouTube is fine, but the TikTok audience, I don't know if TikTok doesn't like me or whatever, but tap the screen on TikTok, get the likes up to about 60,000. Thank you for on YouTube, getting the likes up to about 110 would be nice. Listen to this quote, Julio. Athletes, they make them take
Oh my
a drug.
God, they got me.
No.
Yeah, they got me again.
Oh, shit. Somebody don't like you, man.
Well, that's all right. We'll just talk until I guess I can't talk no more because I'm still there, I guess.
Yeah, we're still good, at least over here. I want to give you this quote. And you get, like I said, I don't block ban or censor. You can take it any way you want. Why these folks are tapping the screen and hopefully getting the likes up to 60,000 on TikTok. Here's the quote. Athletes, they make them take a drug test. We should take a drug test prior to the debate because I don't know what's going on with her, but at the beginning of the last debate, she was all pumped up at the beginning and at the end. She could barely reach her car. That's October 15, 2016, Trump stating about Hillary Clinton. Does that sound familiar at all?
You know, to be honest with you, you were breaking up quite a bit there.
Oh, I don't.
Like I noticed it with Tony too. It just your microphone or something. I don't know if it's my sound that's coming out. Am I loud to you?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah. See, yours sounds like you're in the woods, but everything else, you're not freezing at all. It's just your vocals freezing.
Yeah, and I see some people in the comments are saying they can hear me and others are saying they don't.
Oh, they got me for vaping. That's what somebody said.
Oh, really?
Anyway, I'm sorry. Read that quote again and I'll try to listen.
Yeah, you know something, oddly enough, because at the bottom of my screen, it also says consuming substances featured in this live could harm your health. Damn.
Yeah, I just read that too.
They all over you, huh?
Man, I'm telling you. They shut the talkers up.
Wow. Well, I'll read it again for those who didn't hear it. It's because of you getting the restriction from vaping, but the quote is, athletes, they make them take a drug test. We should take a drug test prior to the debate because I don't know what's going on with her. But at the beginning of the last debate, she was all pumped up at the beginning. And at the end, she could barely reach her car. That is an actual quote from Trump, October 15, 2016, in reference to Hillary Clinton. He was about to have a debate with her. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, it does.
What do you think?
And I think I actually remember hearing that point. You know, listen, I'm not going to defend stupid. I mean, I love Trump as a president. I enjoyed him as a president. I've said it a million times. Oh, hand on my forehead. The guy needs to shut up sometime.
So then I have to ask the question. We know he's willing to make up stuff about people being on drugs. How do we know we're not making it up on Biden? I mean, he just flat out made this up and said Hillary Clinton was on drugs.
Well, he got himself a little bit of an alley-oop when they found all that white substance in the White House.
Yeah.
That gives him a reason to think that. And to answer that question, I don't know if it works on dementia, but I could see how it could.
Yeah. I'd have to have a medical professional. But after this quote, knowing that Trump lies about people being on drugs, it does hurt his credibility, in my opinion. Because we're 8 years out. Because I see somebody in the comments on YouTube said, how do you know it wasn't true? no evidence. There is no evidence at all that's been presented by Trump to suggest that Hillary Clinton was ever on drugs. So it looks like he's just making things up.
It looks like that, and he could be. And yeah, he definitely could be. I wouldn't put it past her. I mean, look what she let her husband get away with. Why wouldn't she want to do drugs?
Yeah, but shouldn't he have to present some kind of evidence when he's making these wild accusations?
That's why they don't go anywhere. Now, and this is what if I was sitting in front of Trump, I'd tell him the same thing. Shut up on some of this stuff because it's not going anywhere. It's talking points. It's a way for us Republicans to make snide remarks to our opposition, but it absolutely goes nowhere. It's just stupid. It's petty name calling bullshit.
I mean, well, you know, Trump is often known for saying they never gave me a chance from day one. If he's suggesting that Hillary Clinton is already on drugs before she became president, isn't he doing the same thing to her?
He's discrediting her for sure, but what he's talking about is all the, from 16 minutes after he got off the escalator, there was impeachment in Congress.
Right.
That's what he's talking. That's what he's talking about. He's not talking about some words that, oh, Trump, where's your tax records? Oh, Trump, you're a racist. Oh, Trump. I mean, that goes hand in hand.
But you're accusing her.
She's on drugs.
Yeah, but you're accusing her of being strung out on narcotics, which could be a felony. I mean, he's accusing her of potentially committing crimes.
Yeah, well, if she piss test and she pissed clean, then that's why she didn't go to prison.
Right, but shouldn't she?
Nothing. My point is nothing came of it, Tim. Nothing came of it, so it's a moot point.
Well, then when folks say that Trump is this or call Trump that, shouldn't they be able to say the same thing? Yeah, I called you a racist or I called you this, but nothing came of it.
Most of us do when they talk that way about Trump. It's a moot point. You're just regurgitating shit other people have said. Show me a point where he's racist. I'll call him a racist.
Yeah. And that's the same thing. Show us a point where Hillary Clinton is on drugs. I mean, I get your point.
100%.
So but the fact is, now that we're talking about it, it does make it clear that Trump is not an innocent victim. He's in the mud with everybody else doing this stuff.
He's in the mud because the people that are in the swamp are kicking mud up at him.
I don't know if the people in the swamp made him say Hillary Clinton was on drugs.
No, but maybe she was. And maybe it's because of the swamp that she never got found out. With this next president, sorry about that. With this next president called Donald Trump, part 2, I believe 100% he's going to leave the office having exposed everything that we're talking about today.
Didn't we believe that the first time he got elected?
Well, hell, I mean, look at the first time he got elected. Look how well he did.
That ain't what we're not talking about how well he did. He promised to drain the swamp and expose people. Did he really do that the first time he was in office?
Right. No, and you know what? I wish he would have went a little harder and he picked some people in his cabinet that he thought we were going to be with him, and they turned out to not be with him. And maybe, I mean, listen to how quiet everything is around. Who was this? Pence. Like, why? He went just quiet.
Well, it's not safe.
I would never endorse him, and then just dead quiet.
Yeah, it's not safe. Just like you don't hear, most of the Trump's detractors have went dead quiet because MAGA's threatening to kill him. You got the jurors that are in you got a call you got to take, man?
No, I ain't got to take any of these. I own my company. I'll call them all back.
All right, I just say this real quick. I will move it on, but I will say this. You got the jurors in Hunter Biden's case doing interviews and everything. The jurors in Trump's case are scared to actually be publicly known. They're scared for their lives. A lot of people are going quiet because it ain't safe for them to speak up.
It's not safe for them to speak up. If they speak the truth, the Dems are coming for them. Listen, it's two different things. You can interview everybody because none of the Republicans are scared. Anybody that doesn't have a good backing and stands up against what's going on in the government today is going to get shut down. That's why we get shut down on your live, because if I say something that, about Pelosi and what she should have done, then I'm all of a sudden I'm off live for 7 days. I mean, they're continually trying to shut the right up.
Well, that's why I have the hat, because I'm fine with letting the right speak, but it happens to liberals as well, man. I mean, it happens to both sides. I got to move it on, Julio. Appreciate you coming through. You did survive. Come on back anytime, man.
At least it was just for smoking this time.
Yeah, this time. We'll do it. We'll try and see if we can top it next time. Appreciate it. All right, moving the program on. And wow, maybe that's why the numbers are low, is that they restricted the live because my last guest was on the video using a vape. Wow, that's kind of petty. But you guys know I don't block, ban, or censor. Looking in the comments, not maybe. Look for the FBI records on the interview with tenants. What are you talking about, Joseph Kuhn? Caller double tapping on his own words. He couldn't expose because of the few cabinet members that was loyal to the Constitution versus Trump. I actually kind of agree with that. I believe that as opposed to exposing the swamp, Trump actually brought, if you listen to the words of Trump himself, he brought more swamp creatures to Washington because he refers to many of his own administration that he had to fire as swamp creatures. He didn't drain any swamp creatures. According to him himself, he actually brought more of them with him. They weren't loyal or they didn't have his back. You name how he want to phrase it. But really, he actually expanded the swamp. Most of the folks that Trump referred to as swamp creatures, they're still in D.C. They still have their jobs. He didn't get rid of any of them. Looking in the comments, though, why do give such uninformed guests so much time? I give all guests time. Who asked that question? Donald something. Donald, if you're in the box and we're talking, I believe in free speech. Yeah, some guests have opinions that I disagree with. I often tell them that. The whole purpose of the program is to have uncensored speech, or as far as I can take it, can't control the TikTok and YouTube gods, but yours truly, I believe in people should be able to speak. What do I say all the time? I go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with QAnon. So the people get to speak. You're not going to agree with everything you hear. It's just that way. That's just the way the program is ran. Looking in the comments, though. Nah, Julio is on too much, says Devo. A lot of my fans don't like Julio. A lot of my liberals think that Julio is too far to the right. But then again, Moo or Takesha, some of my regular progressive guests, the right think the same about them. Left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with QAnon. That's how it works. By the way, tap the screen. The lights got dropped even more that we had a guest on here that got a restriction, and that's probably going to hurt the live for the rest of the time we're on. But tap the screen, see if you can get me up to about 80,000. Same on YouTube. YouTube, you guys have been really good on the participation and the support. I do appreciate that. He was only one man draining the swamp. Was a huge task. No one could do it in 4 years. I don't disagree with you, New Age. No one can do it in 8 either. This is where I have to get a win to Obama. And I know a lot of MAGA is not going to agree with this, but Obama said he told Trump, it's a lot easier to make promises, but when you actually have to deliver, you're not going to be able to do that. This is what happens when you elect a non-typical politician. I don't want somebody who's been a lifelong politician or been around I want somebody new. I want a businessman. Well, you don't know the rules. You don't know how to unite people. You don't know how to make backdoor deals. He's bad at that. Trump is a successful conglomerate, media mogul, real estate tycoon. He is a great businessman. But in his atmosphere, whether he's running his businesses, whether he's doing the media, for the most part, he's always lived a life of my way or the highway, which is why I often suggest that Trump would be very effective as a dictator, because you don't have to listen to people. But in the American, system, whether you call it democracy, republic, whatever the hell you want to say, you can't do it all by yourself. You need the permission of Congress. You need the permission of the Senate. It's not like in a boardroom where you can say, we're going to open up an office in San Francisco. Anybody who don't like it, hand in your resignation. You can't do that in D.C. And that's the problem when you put in somebody who's not a typical politician. He don't know the rules. He doesn't know that maybe I need to contact John McCain behind the scenes, let him know I want to repeal and replace Obamacare. What does maybe he want for Arizona? So that when I go out there and try to do this, I don't look like a fool when John McCain comes up there and says thumbs down. That's what a politician does. You call these people before the day the actual bill vote is taken. Trump doesn't know the rules. He's a businessman trying to run the country like a business. It doesn't work that way. You got checks and balances. A CEO don't have that stuff. That's the problem. And if you reelect a politician that doesn't know the rules of being a politician, you're going to run into that. Looking in the comments, though, that's why Republicans are pushing Project 2025. I'm hearing a lot about that these days. In other words, they want to change the way this country is ran fundamentally. Wow. President Trump worth $3.7 billion in 2016, $2.4 billion in 2024. He knows how to run businesses, and he didn't rip off the people as a politician. You're trying to say there's a lot more to running a country, though, than just the bottom line. This is also an issue about running a country as a business. What is the primary concern of a business? Their bottom line, period. That's it. If you're running a country and you're trying to run it as a business, there's a lot of aspects that are not going to work, because a business is only concerned with you if you have the proper finances to pay for whatever their good or service is. That's how business works. If you don't have any money, Target has no use for you. You go to shop at Target because you have money. If you don't have any money, they have no use for you. As a country, you don't want to treat the poor citizens like Target would treat poor shoppers. You can't run the country as a business. I mean, there are people who don't have money. There's a lot of people who don't make a lot. How do their children go to schools? What if they need to dial emergency services? A business is looking at them all as customers. There are aspects of American society that should not be ran as a business. Same with the penal system. We've been running for-profit prisons in this country for quite a while now, and it is a mess. I mean, what is it? 50% of inmates return back in a year, 80% in 5 years, and they call themselves correctional facility. They're not correcting the damn thing. I don't know if you should run the country as a business. There are certain aspects of the nation you don't want to be on a for-profit base. I just don't think that's healthy. Going back to the box, though, we will go to Red Wolf. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Why is Trump changing his tune on Biden's cognitive abilities? Red Wolf, looks like the box is going to be problematic. With the program having a restriction on it, is making it hard to continue doing this because TikTok didn't like one of my guests vaping, and they're playing games with the box. The viewership is way down, and it's simply because of what happened. Bro, the Democrats ran the business of removing Native Americans off of the lands. That's why you see Andrew Jackson. Let me just say this in regards to the Democratic Party being a party of slavery, or the party, you're bringing up the Democrats from the late 17 and 1800s. The Democratic Party today has nothing to do with that shit. You know, running natives off land. I mean, you're going all the way back to, what do you say, Andrew Jackson. You're telling me the Democratic Party operates the same way they did in the Andrew Jackson days. I mean, be a little bit more modern than that. That's insane. That is insane. But we're dumb enough to believe him this time. Well, the cult is anyway. Yeah, if somebody had a viewer on the guest earlier that said the only difference between Trump and Jim Jones is he actually charges for the Kool-Aid. That is a hell of a quote. Wow. It's been the same Democratic Party since. No, it has not. That's ridiculous. The idea that the Democratic Party now is the same one it's been since slavery, when all of the slave states are now voting red, just simply the fact that all of the former slave states vote Republican shows the Democratic Party is not the same. All of those states wanted slavery to continue, and the Democrats were pro-slavery, yet they're all voting Republican now. So even the damn slave states realize something is different about the Democratic Party. But it was a very nice try, but it just doesn't match what you're actually seeing with your eyes. Ivanka net worth $600 million while working as an unelected person in the White House. And I will say this in regards to that. We talk about Hunter Biden and all of this stuff. The fact that Trump was able to employ a bunch of family members, and by the way, I believe it was Jared Kushner, the FBI would not even give him security clearance because of the connections he has. And Trump actually said give it to him anyway. The FBI they run a background check on everybody. They got access to the White House and top secret materials and things like that. They wouldn't even clear Jared Kushner. And Trump said, do it anyway. If that had to happen on the left, they would be going ape shit. I'm just going to say that. They would be going ape shit if that happened on the left. Going back to the box, I don't know if I'm going to be able to bring a guest on or not. We can try it. Yeah, the box is down apparently because of the restrictions. I'm trying to bring guests on, but it is what it is. The Republican Party has changed in the last 8 years. It's happening now. Republican Party changed. The Republican Party absolutely changed under Trump. Many would suggest it's not the Republican Party anymore. It's the Trump Party. I don't think Trump follows the values of a traditional. He's not even Christian. Trump is not a devoted Christian. So I don't think Trump follows. He talked about banning guns. That goes against the Republican Party. Trump was pro-life most of his life. He was a Democrat. On video, he said he isn't a traditional Republican. He's Trump. So in my opinion, the Republican Party is kind of the MAGA party now. Remember how black Chicagoans felt like second-class citizens to illegal immigrants? They do kind of now still. I think a lot of them are still complaining about that. But I will say this. And I'd say this to some of my Chicago folks that are often bashing Biden because of the immigrants all over the streets and in hotels and things like that. Understand that what happened in Chicago, New York, and some of the northern cities, that's not organic. That's not from a bunch of immigrants coming in this country illegally or seeking asylum and all rushing to Chicago. Without Texas Governor Greg Abbott or Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, what's happening in Chicago and these other northern cities would not be happening. So you can blame Biden for whatever he's doing at the border, but what's happening in those cities is actually at the behest of Texas Governor Abbott and Ron DeSantis. That was done by design. They believed that in Texas, nobody was listening to their pleas, that you needed to secure the border, and that the liberals were ignoring them. So they deliberately targeted those cities with the intention of flooding them with immigrants. So people in Chicago, if you want to be going from Biden because of the border and voting in Republicans do have a play in what's happening to your city. That was done by design. Now, I see in the comments, folks like Raptor says, good, okay, fair enough. You like what they did, but they did do it. Even if you favor it, they did do it. That was done intentionally. So voting in the Republican Party, understand that is the party that did that to your city. They wanted those people to be in your city. Because at the end of the day, there's sanctuary cities all over liberal America. They only targeted a few to exacerbate the problem. They could have sent them people all over America. There's a lot of liberal outlets. They would have took a few here, took a few there. They didn't want it that way. They wanted chaos. And shout out to them. They actually did accomplish what they tried to do. But it came from them. It didn't come from people running across the Rio Grande and getting in the country illegally. That was done by design. Looking in the comments, Christians are supposed to turn the other cheek. Trump does the opposite. How can you even remotely consider him a Christian? I don't consider America a Christian nation. I just don't. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Can you imagine the Last Supper when Jesus, allegedly handed out a loaf of bread to everybody and gave everybody something to eat? He could have held that whole loaf and said, I got mine. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps and figure it out. That's what America does to the poor. I don't see America as a Christian nation. I just don't. I think everything from healthcare to education, I don't think we really care about the downtrodden in the way that I was taught that Jesus would. I don't see it. I see greed. I get people even come on the program and suggest that if a criminal who's been convicted of, say, murder is sentenced to a long sentence in prison, why should the taxpayers have to pay to feed them? Why don't we just execute them? I get viewers that want to kill people to save money. You can save the taxpayers money on this criminal by murdering them. We're a money-focused country. We're not Christian. I don't believe it. I think Christianity is something we tell ourselves because it feels good. But the way we run the country is not based on Christianity. That's my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Look at in the comments, though. Democratic politicians get richer in office. President Trump got poorer. Yeah, but his family didn't. Trump's family got exceptionally wealthy. Ivanka walked away with 26 patents and $2 billion from the Saudis. None of that is going to dad. I'm sure you believe that. To my Hunter Biden folks who believe that Hunter Biden and his dad is all in it together. But Ivanka getting $2 billion, dad ain't getting none of that, huh? So I don't know if I totally agree with that. Looking in the comments, Trump hotel. Yeah, and they had to invoke the emoluments clause on Trump too, because he was getting richer. He had dignitaries using his golf course, staying at his hotels, and they had to tell him, you're president, you can't be operating like that. He was getting richer for a while. So that's not being completely honest. Hunter and the big guy have been doing it for decades. Maybe, but at the end of the day, just like I say all the time, Trump deserves his day in court. So does Biden. If you're going to say Biden is in all this corrupt stuff, by the way, Trump promising to drain the swamp and lock people up, most of the things that Biden, talking about President Biden, is being accused of, it happened before Trump got elected. You're going to point out criminals and do nothing about the crime? That's what Trump did. He said Hillary Clinton was corrupt. Biden, Obama, they're all corrupt. Then we elected him and he did nothing about any of them. So he would probably be responsible for some of the blame too, because he could have, as he say, weaponized the DOJ and went after people who were actually criminals. Unfortunately, folks, I hate to have to blow the, yeah, thank you, big dog. The box is down. So I will temporarily suspend the program. I'll be back on later on tonight because I can't conversate with the folks. And I always enjoy talking to you folks. You guys keep me in line. As some have stated on the program, well, you're delivering misinformation or you're being dishonest intellectually. I like to hear that. I like to hear folks let me know where I'm getting it wrong, and then we can hash it out. That's how civilized dialogue works. Appreciate you folks that have dropped the subscription on YouTube. Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Central is where you'll find us. Monday through Friday, 1,300 hours. Feel free to follow the program. I'll try it one time, Gen X. I don't know if the box is problematic today. So let me see if it brings you up. I'm going to see if, yeah, it actually did. Let me start the car and get a little bit of air conditioning with Gen X. Good afternoon, Gen X.
My man.
Hey. So Trump is now making it sound like Biden may be a formidable adversary. Why is he changing his mind after for years saying the guy's out of his mind?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we could go out on a limb, go way out on a limb and say that after 9 years in politics, he's finally getting a clue on how shit works. Maybe he's figured out that toning down his rhetoric, not getting rid of it, but at least toning it down and being more palatable is in his benefit.
I like that, but I think it's too late. I do agree with you, and I you know, if he had done that maybe about a year or two ago, I would strongly be in your favor. But I think at this point, with only 5 months to go, with Roe v. Wade and things where they are, I don't think a more palatable Trump is going to make a difference. It's too close.
Well, but to be fair, you got to look at it kind of like this, Tim. The very first time you drove for Uber? How much shit did you do that you wouldn't do today?
Well, they were paying me. Yeah, Uber was paying about 4 times more than they do today. So a whole lot of shit. Uber driving. When I started driving for Uber, not to get off in the ride sharing, but when I started driving for Uber, they were paying like $2.20 a mile. The drivers were making in my market. They give them 72 cents now. Uber drivers don't make any damn thing.
Now, maybe that's not the case. Okay. Maybe it is. But it's something to consider. That's how I see it. I was kind of happy when I heard that. I was like, all right, that's kind of an intelligent thing to say.
Yeah, but after saying that the man has been on drugs and all of that, I mean, he done said so many horrible things about Biden, many of them that we can prove are not true. I don't know if toning down your rhetoric only 4 months before the election. I think it's really too late for that, Gen X. I don't think it's gonna matter.
What are you doing for the debate?
Watching it.
Hey, you know what we should do, Tim?
What's
we
up?
should have a watch party on Zoom.
I'd be down with that.
I got all the Zoom set up, but if you set it up where you can drop a link and you can invite people, I think that'd be a good show for you, man.
I got an audience. I might be able to bring a few thousand guests. I don't know. I've never used it in that manner. I'm not a big. My tech days are behind me. I would love to figure it out because I planned on going live right after the debate because I want to be able to focus on the show.
I think that'd be a real interesting thing to do. We sit down, we listen to it, then when they go to break, man, let's go at it.
Wow. Yeah, I might be open to that because I absolutely will be watching and taking notes as usual because I got to be able to get on here and talk to the folks. I know a lot of you guys are going to have some interesting opinions. I want to see Biden falling down, or I want to hear MAGA apologies. If that guy ain't completely out of his mind, I want to hear MAGA say maybe we overstated Biden's cognitive abilities.
I think one of your guests brought up a good point that when Trump's mic is muted, that's not going to be enough to keep Trump quiet. And if it is, I'll be shocked. And I'm a Trump fan. I love Donald Trump. I'll be shocked because I wouldn't be.
That to me though. Yeah, to me that makes them look bad. If you can't stop talking, it's one thing if you're trying to make a point. Let's say they give you 60 seconds, and the point you're making maybe takes your conversation to about 70 seconds, where you need about 10 seconds. That's fine. But if all of a sudden every time Biden talks, Trump is trying to interject and fact check him or correct him and won't let him talk, to me that makes Trump look like he's unhinged.
Yeah, I agree. And what I meant was exactly what you said. When you need that extra 15 seconds to kind of make your point.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I mean, but that's the way it used to be until Trump started doing what he does. I mean, they used to have the debates where you get to talk, you get a bell at 60 seconds, but even if you're going over a little bit, they would let you do it. The problem is Trump came in and Trump just would not let people talk at all, which is why you had Biden saying, "Won't you shut up?" I mean, he really was just not letting the people speak at all. But that's, as I stated, that's what happens when you elect a non-typical politician. He don't know the rules.
I think what I'm going to do is every time that Biden falls off the hook, I'm going to take a shot.
So you're going to sound like you got dementia by the end of the debate.
Hopefully halfway through.
Oh, my God. Well, like I said, if Biden gets up there and he sounds coherent, I think that they've lowered the bar. MAGA and Trump has lowered the bar so damn low. They've made it real. It's almost like T-ball. It's real easy for Biden to hit a home run because you guys have made him sound like he is going to be really, really bad looking to look at.
Yeah. I think it's going to be an interesting debate. I'm kind of looking forward to it.
It's Super Bowl material for yours truly, but I do believe that Trump is known for exaggerating and, fabricating stuff. I think when it comes to Biden's cognitive abilities, that's going to come back to bite him. That's one area where he's been fabricating and exaggerating on Biden's cognitive abilities for years. And when Biden gets up there on stage and is debating them face to face, we know there's no teleprompter. It's improv. And if he's able to speak and engage with Trump, that makes Trump look like he's been lying for a long time on Biden.
I think it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. To say the least.
So what's the second part of your show? You usually do two.
I only did one today because I've been having some issues, and then we had a guest on that was Julio, which you know who Julio is. Julio was on the program.
Love Julio.
Yeah, and then once they started censoring the program, but also I had to cut it short anyway because I got a doctor's appointment today, so I only did one topic for that simple reason.
When do you get your regular feedback?
What do you mean?
Your regular channel. We're on the backup right now, ain't we?
Tomorrow at 1, but I'll probably be here tomorrow. And then, yeah, for folks who don't know, this is the backup channel. The Handsome Liberal on TikTok, spelled correctly, is the main channel. It has about 4 times as many followers. That is the main channel. We will be back on that Thursday, the day of the debate. So we'll have a show before the debate and then probably one after the debate that same day.
Yeah, that's gonna be good shit, man.
All right.
That's gonna be cool shit.
And I look forward to having you on, Julio. I do got to move it on, though. Appreciate it. I got to go.
All right, Tim. Have a good day, man. Thanks for
All
having
right,
me.
anytime. Appreciate it. And by the way, folks, as I stated, I do got a appointment to go to, so I will catch you guys tomorrow, 1300 hours. Thank you, folks, on YouTube as well. Trump is finished like Joe. I don't believe that's the case. We'll see what happens. 4 months or so. Catch you.